Can I start by thanking my honourable friend, the member for Altrincham and Sale West, for securing a really important debate today. Over the last 18 months and during the election campaign, I had the privilege of meeting Hongkongers in Leeds. Listening to their experiences shed much more light on the ongoing denial of human rights and democratic values in Hong Kong. They told me of the important work they were doing across Yorkshire, including the estimated 4,000 to support the people that have settled there, the estimated 4,000 that have settled in Leeds since 2020. Now, around a third of those live in my constituency, Leeds South West and Morley. So this is an issue that is both very important to me, but also very close to me too. Now, more than 10,000 people have been arrested in the protest-related cases since the start of the pro-democracy movement in 2019. This includes, as has been referenced today by many members, the British citizen Jimmy Lai, who has been behind bars for years, and he faces life imprisonment under the national security law for quite simply telling the truth. Given that we recognise why Hong Kongers are leaving their country, it is essential that we consider the security and access to services for those that come to the UK. Now, given the time constraints on this debate, my contribution is just going to focus on one specific aspect of security, and that is transnational repression. Many British national overseas, that's BNO as we know, visa holders remain concerned about the threats, transnational repression, and threats against both them and their families back in Hong Kong. Indeed, a survey conducted by Hong Kongers in Leeds shows that 97% of their respondents supported the strengthening of actions against transnational repression. Worryingly, though, over half of those that responded to that same survey agreed that they themselves would not speak up against the injustice in Hong Kong due to their fear that their families, still in Hong Kong, would face consequences. They also question if they'd ever be able to return to Hong Kong should they criticise the Chinese government themselves. In fact, members of the Hong Kong community in Leeds, including those in Leeds South West and Morley, have reported facing ongoing intimidation and harassment, which is something I would like to share with you all today. At several events organised by Hong Kongers in Leeds, individuals were seen photographing attendees without their consent, and some attendees were even threatened with claims that the photos taken of them would be shared with the authorities in Hong Kong to prevent them from ever being allowed to return home. Threats have also occurred on social media in Leeds, with the Leeds Hong Kong Community Facebook page being shared in far-right circles in an attempt to cause agitation. And worse still, the personal information of prominent activists in the Hong Kong community in Leeds, phone numbers, personal addresses, have been shared publicly in an attempt to humiliate them and endanger them. Now, the experiences I've shared with you today, the threat and intimidation that the people of Hong Kong and the Hong Kongers based in Leeds face here today, these are concerns that are continuously raised with me in my capacity as the Member of Parliament for Leeds South West and Morley, and prior to that as the candidate for Leeds South West and Morley. But we know that this behaviour is being encouraged by the Chinese government. We know this. Those same Leeds Hong Kongers that carried out that survey I mentioned earlier report to me that only 18% of respondents agreed that the UK government provides a safe environment for them from the Chinese government. The survey was carried out prior to the general election. Therefore, I do welcome the government's commitment to take a proactive approach in countering the most acute forms of state-directed threats to individuals. So I'd encourage the Minister to look into considering additional provisions in the state threats aggravating factor. This will cover, or should cover, criminal actions aimed at individuals that are identified by a foreign power as a dissident. This would recognise that the naming of individuals is a form of state threat behaviour too, even if they don't necessarily issue a directive to harm the individual in question. Finally, I'd say that we must continually work towards supporting Hong Kongers to live freely, both in Hong Kong, but also here in the UK. Free from threats, free from intimidation, free from repression. It's crucial for our democracy and the values we espouse to keep all of our citizens safe. Thank you.
Yeah.